have unmuted myself successfully. Yay!
Yay!
Welcome to the show, everybody. Haunt fans. I'm Johnny Bronto, and with me, I've got my brand new guest co-host. This is going to be the Dead Girl.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
So, Dead Girl.
Yes.
What do you do?
I am a horror enthusiast. I have a vlog, or I have a YouTube vlog. I do weekly videos, usually every Wednesday, or doing haunt season, usually once or twice or 3 times a week. I'll post some stuff. I cover anything from Halloween decorations to haunts to local horror conventions like Spooky Empire. I also have a Facebook page and a blog and all the social medias, Twitter, Instagrams. Follow me, give it a like.
Nice.
That would be awesome. So yeah.
Yeah, that's actually how I discovered Dead Girl here. Now, we had met through a mutual person, through Sylvia, but it was one of those like, hey, here's this person, and they don't mean anything to you in context yet. So we had met at the Tampa Theater when we did the Ghost Tour.
Yes, that was awesome.
And then I followed up with some of her videos, and they're really, really good. So make sure you guys check out her content.
Yay.
Is Horror Happenings with Dead Girl everywhere, all over the place.
Yes.
Including farmersonly.com or wherever it is.
Check it out. It's good stuff. And t-shirts. I
Yeah.
also have t-shirts. It's spreadshirt.com, horror/happening. So check that out.
They're like, it's what you want to wear to the gun show.
They're I don't really have guns. I'm pretending. And
I think I'm just going to tear the sleeves off of this, and I'm going to use that as my shirt from now on. No more HauntScene. It'd be a little weird, wouldn't it?
That would be strange. Yes.
All right, so we're gonna talk about Howl-O-Scream this week. Melissa is currently in California. She's out there doing the Disneylands and the California Adventures and the Knott's Berry Scary Farm or Not Scary Farm and the Halloween Horror Nights out there. So she'll bring a full report for that, or a brief report when she gets back next week. So she'll be back to normal next week. So we had the opportunity to go out to Howl-O-Scream last Friday for their media event.
Yes.
So we got a decent amount of pictures here. Now, I'm not going to go through, this isn't a house ranking report. We're not going to rank all the houses from top to bottom. I'm just going to talk about the experiences that we did, Melissa and I. Now, I was with JD and
Erica, Dad Girl, whatever.
there we go. I'm like, do you want to go by the alias?
Whoever you
Are you
are.
like Seal?
I am.
You were like
Kiss from a Rose.
a mononym. All right, so what's up, Jeremiah? What's up, everybody? So, all right, so we're just going to follow the same order. We actually did everything together through one full run, and then we split up, and then we did everything twice except one house, and then you guys did your own thing. And you missed a couple things.
We did.
We broke up.
We did. We broke up.
We broke up the group.
We went our ways.
Yes.
We did miss a couple of Scarezones.
It was them, not me. Okay. All right, so let's talk about this. We got a lot to talk about, so we're just going to go ahead and get in there. So let's do this.
Yeah.
Get into the Howl-O-Screams. So here's all the basic information.
Screaming.
All right, that was kind of strange. Yeah, our broadcast just kind of clicked out, and we saw some weird woman on the screen. So we're going to pick it back up. Sorry about that. So please get a chance to join again. You should get a little marker that we're live again. I clicked out, and that was a little weird. But hey, this is why we do it live.
See, mine is still showing it ended.
Hit your notifications. It won't be the same one. It'll actually start a new one. So hit the thing up there, and it should say, or just go to HauntScene, and you should see the, or watch. See where it says watch on the left? Left-hand side?
No, I'm an idiot.
No, that's okay. See on the left-hand side? Your name. There we go. And I think that watches whatever you are subscribing to. So
I'm not subscribing to any of that.
Oh no!
What is happening?
I don't know. It's okay.
HauntScene.
All right, these things happen. Of course they do. So yeah, if you just go to HauntScene, it should allow you to bring you back in there. Not that one. Just go to the HauntScene thing, the HauntScene page. This is why I'm going to edit this later.
I'm sorry, guys. It's all my fault.
Broke it.
I broke all the things.
All right, scroll. And there should be a little thing there where it's live. Keep going. And there we go, live now. Just clicky.
This one?
Yep. Click on it.
Click for more.
All right, guys, sorry about that. It happens. That's the first time it's happened this season, but we're just going to continue.
Sorry.
So thank you for rejoining. It happens. All right, so while we give people an opportunity to rejoin the chat, we're going to keep talking here because I don't want to just sit there. So everybody should get a notification just to rejoin. Okay, so we were talking about general information for Howl-O-Scream, Howl-O-Scream.com. They just started last weekend. They're going through the last weekend of October this year. The hours are all the same. They're 7:30 p.m. to 1 a.m. They got various different ticket packages. You can look them up on the website. Parking's $22. Mm-hmm. Couple upgrades. You can do express. You can do the fright feast, which includes dinner, includes early access to the houses, a little preview of the Fiends show. So we usually recommend that. So yeah. All right. So that's the basic information. Just go and get it out, Howl-O-Scream.com.
Don't be lazy. Look up the website.
Yeah, look it up here. They do have a downloadable map, so you can go to the website and get the map if you want to do a little pre-scouting here. I'll give you some tips on that in a moment. So let's go ahead and get started here talking about the stuff. So some of these pictures are going to be with Melissa and I because, we were there together. So let's start off talking about the media event.
Yeah. It was neat. I liked the... They had a different entrance for us than they did for anybody else.
Fancy entrance.
We were fancy. We had a little white carpet that had some blood thrown on it, so you got to walk the bloodied carpet, and they had a little photo op set up, which was kind of neat. That was the Day of the Dead.
Yeah, I got a
themed.
picture here. Here we go.
Yeah.
So you can see on the bottom left, it's like the bloody red carpet.
Yes.
Hey-yo. And then they had a photo op with a couple of characters from the Gillis Mortos. And,
It was neat. It was cool. Then once you get out of that little photo area, they had a little tent set up where they had drinks and some snacks and a whole bunch of other media people there. So you could mingle and chit-chat, before the event actually kicked off.
Yeah, we did some schmoozing. Well, actually, I did some boozing early on. If you guys watch, I'm going on Facebook, I did a live stream as a little I usually hit it kind of hard in the beginning. I just sober up as the night goes by. I'm not really a big drinker. But I was pretty.
You were pretty happy there.
I was pretty happy for a moment.
You were pretty happy there for the beginning. And I believe I'm picking my nose in that live stream that you did.
Yeah, that's fine.
You're welcome.
I thought you were she was just doing that for show. She doesn't do that in real life. Yes, I do. Okay. All right. So a couple people here that we got to meet. Looking at the top right, David Hughes, creative from Horror Nights. So we run into him every year. A super nice guy. He was with, and it was Stuart Clark. Stuart Clark, who I ran into, top left, this is the president of Busch Gardens and Adventure Island. So I got to meet the president of Busch Gardens, which is really cool. And he gave me a card with his email, his personal cell phone number. So any issues that I have with Howl-O-Scream, I'm going to call him directly and make sure that he takes care of it.
That's your BFF now.
I'm just kidding. That probably won't happen. All right, so media event was this your first? No, a couple things we want to make sure that we get straight here before we go into talking about the houses and scare zones and the experience was. Yes. I've been going to Howl-O-Scream every single year since 2013, so this is my 5th year in a row. I
have not gone for 6 or 7 years, so it's been a really long time since I've Busch Gardens actually had a ticket sale. It was like $20. So I picked up a couple of tickets so that JD and I could go and check it out. And they ended up sending us an invite for the media event. So
because you're legit.
Because I am
AF.
Yay!
Episode's rated 17 and
NC-17.
Yep, NC-17.
So it was kind of cool to get that because that was my first official invite into a media event. So for me, it was a very, very neat, very fun experience.
It's my 2nd year in a row. I'm just saying.
All right, fancy.
All right, well, hey, it's better to get an invite than not get an invite.
Yes.
So media event was fun. We were just kind of schmoozing for about an hour or so. They had snacks, they had drinks. Tim Trecker was there. Freaks of Horror Nights was there. Behind the Thrills was there. I am
Misfits Unmanaged was there, but they were working and getting their scare on.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I think I got a picture of them. Let's take a look. There we go.
There they are.
All right, so they had I schmoozed with a flight of tequila, which is pretty good. Watching Melissa drink tequila was absolutely hilarious because she's not a drinker and she's just like, oh.
Kind of sad I missed that.
Yeah, it was pretty epic. But she like a trooper, she just took it. Right?
Took it like a champ.
Get in that coffin, Melissa.
Good job,
She's
Melissa.
Like, sure. All right, so we get to see our friends who are from on the right-hand side from Misfits Unmanaged. Make sure you guys are following them on social media. They're part of our clique, our wrestling stable.
Our Haunt fam.
So they may run in with a chair and hit somebody over the head when we're being hurt or something. I don't know.
They get our back.
A couple photo ops here with a couple really cool characters from the Gillis Mortos Scarezone and Tequila and drinks.
All the tequila.
Yep, all the tequilas. Now, I don't have my badge, but they gave us a VIP badge, and it was a little different this year because it was unlimited access to all the houses. So last year was a punch card, and it was just once per house. This year it was just like go nuts. So
It actually had unlimited access for all the rides, too.
oh,
For all the coasters or whatever was open, so it was the same thing.
I'm not a coaster guy.
What?
I'm just not. And that's the thing you have to kind of keep in mind is if you do love roller coasters, a whole other side of Howl-O-Scream is there. I just don't get to experience it because I'm not a big coaster person. I was when I was younger. I'm just not that much anymore. I don't know why.
All right, old man.
I know. Get off my lawn. I get on roller coasters. All right, so we got to move on. I got to talk about stuff. Here's the map. So here's the map. A couple things to point out this year. They went down to 6 houses this year. So the top part, where if you're looking at the screen right now, where it says Sand Serpent, right there was previously Demented Dimensions, and prior to that was Zombie Mortuary, which was amazing. And but there is no house back there, so everything is a little more kind of tight a little bit than it has been previously. So we got the house lineup here. 4 of the houses returning. A couple of these have been there for a couple of years now. The Unearthed House, Motel Hell, Black Spot, and Deathwater Bayou. Some of these are kind of hinting that they might be the last year. And they've got 2 new houses called Insomnia and the Simon Slaughterhouse, 17 and up. Okay.
17 and up.
17 and up.
That's the theme, folks. Don't forget.
All right. Get off my hot lawn. All right, so there's the map. You can download it from the website if you need to. Here are the house. Some of these I took pictures of. Some of them I did not. I used they have all the houses posted on the outside of the event before you get in. Mm-hmm. Some of them weren't labeled like they were on the outside of the park, so I used those instead. So we've got the house lineup here. And which house do we start with?
We started with Insomnia.
Okay. All right, so here's the scare zones. We'll talk as much as we can about the scare zones. When we kind of compared some mental notes earlier, some of these were drawing some blanks for a couple reasons, but we'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about Insomnia. Now, Insomnia, and like I said, it's not a house ranking, but this ended up being probably my favorite house of the night. Yes. What'd you think?
It was definitely my favorite house of the night. It had some really good elements in it. The first walkthrough was great. The second walkthrough, we got to see a lot more. It seems like they activated some more things within the house, and they had a couple more characters, so that helped to amp it up as well. Yeah. The thing that I liked the most about it is every time we went through, they pulsed us.
Yes.
So it was just like, here's your group. You guys stay over here. And it was lovely because you actually got the scares. They weren't always in front of you or behind you. And that's one of the things that I really do like about Howl-O-Scream.
I agree. They pulse you in groups. So unlike the conga line, which you're going to experience at something like Halloween Horror Nights, which is a nonstop, and you get lucky if you get some of the effects and the scares. Here at Howl-O-Scream, your group should get everything. And I will admit, I was in camera mode. They did let media do video and photography in the houses, so I didn't get to see everything the first run, but I did everything twice that night except Black Spot, which we'll talk about a little bit later. I love the sheeps. I love the crazy rabid sheeps. I like that there's a spider room. There's a place where the walls shift. This is in the same location that the Zombie Containment Union was last year. So it's just something where you might as well just hit it up first. It's the bottom right of the map.
And it's by Cheetah Hunt, isn't it?
Yep, by Cobra's Curse.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, past Cheetah Hunt on Cobra's Curse.
Yeah. But it was very cool. Like I said, a lot of cool elements in it. Some of the moving walls were awesome. Had some good scares. I will admit, I jumped a few times in that house, which is usually hard for me just because I'm usually so look at how pretty this looks, and not really, wanting to get that moment. But when I get them, I love it. So it was good.
Yep. So the story of the house is it's like a sleep evil sleep clinic where they keep people awake. They have a really cool, I don't want to spoil it too much for you, but remember this episode is rated 17 and up. So there's a push wall where it's like all a scrim or something like that, and it's got that like Freddy Krueger effect where it's pushing through the wall. Really, really cool. They got and their sheep on the wall, which is really cool, the wallpaper there. So I liked it. I like this house. I was a fan of it.
It was definitely something that if you do go to Howl-O-Scream, make sure that you do this house.
Yeah.
Because it's very, very much worth it.
All right, so we're going to move on because we got a lot to talk about. Next, we spent a little bit of time, a little bit of photo ops in the Gillis Mortos scare zone. It's not really a scare zone. I didn't see any of them really jump out and try to get me. No. But it's very pretty. They've got some really good photo ops here, really cool stuff. I did not get a chance to see the parade, I guess, that goes with this. You saw something that resembled a parade.
Okay. I don't really know if it was a parade or not. When we were walking back through to hit Insomnia before we left, there were a bunch of the characters from that zone kind of walking through, and they had a gentleman in a full black nylon suit, and he had this big clown puppet skeleton puppet.
It's right here at the top. Right?
Yes, that he was moving around, and they just kind of walked a little bit. There were probably about 6 or 7 of them just kind of walking together, so there wasn't any floats or anything like that. If they did it, it's not something that we saw.
Yeah. Now keep in mind, another thing I want to keep in mind is this is the opening night of the event, opening night. So a lot of times when you get into, especially theme park haunts, maybe they don't have everything up and running. Actors are still getting used to their scares, people still getting used to their positioning, all that stuff. So I usually give a little bit of a break because of that. So if there is a parade, if somebody takes pictures or video, make sure you shoot it our way so we can actually watch it.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so got some more photo ops here. If you take a look at the very, very bottom left, they got sugar skulls. I love sugar skulls. I love the whole Day of the Dead aesthetic, but they have a really good photo op there. Howl-O-Scream is all about the photo ops, man. They are all about putting you with things to pose with and maybe some attractive characters to pose with. All kinds of stuff, but it's just a pretty zone to walk through. It's pretty.
It's very pretty. It's not scary by any means, and like Johnny was saying, nobody really jumps out and is like, run, and tries to scare you. They just kind of dance around you, and they're more than happy to take a picture if you want one, and a lot of the times, I know, we got in the habit of asking if flash was okay just because you don't want to blind these guys, and with this particular scare zone, most of them were in masks anyway, so it's just common courtesy, and they were really cool with it, which was nice.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. All right, moving on. We are moving on.
Next.
Second house that we did was the Deathwater Bayou house. Has subtitle this year, Death to the Queen, which makes me think that maybe this might be its last year. So if you did enjoy Deathwater Bayou, I think it's been in 4 or 5 years. It's been a while. I love this house. I will, but sometimes that's time for something new.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a really good run through Deathwater Bayou. What'd you think?
It was fun. I got a really good bungee scare in that house, and I did kind of squeal a little bit, which is out of the norm for me, so that was enjoyable. The scenic, from what I could see in it, was great. There were sections of it that were really, really dark, so you couldn't really see much. But yeah, it was overall definitely a fun house.
Yeah, I actually got some of the pictures I've been waiting to take for a while. I love I bring this up every year. They have this New Orleans style funeral you walk through, and you actually have to walk under the procession of coffins. Really cool.
That was fun. That was different.
Did you do this one twice?
This one we didn't get to do twice.
Okay.
But the time that we did do it was really cool, and like you said with the funeral procession, having to actually go underneath the coffin. It's always fun when you have to duck down because it takes you out of that comfort zone of being upright and on the defense, if you will. So that was kind of neat.
Okay. So it's good. Now, like I said, this has been the 3rd or 4th year of this for me. I didn't really see anything new. But I will tell you, the second run that we went through, Melissa and I, we kind of, after we did everything together, we broke off and did everything again except Black Spot. And the second time we did this house, it was cameras off, just there to enjoy the house. And I could swear that there were twice as many characters in there. They were getting us. It felt like twice as many characters. I don't know if they were in the middle of a shift change or overlap or whatever, or maybe we just got lucky. But this was probably the most aggressive house, I guess, that night.
They even on the first walkthrough, they were pretty much they were coming for you. Like there was no like getting around it. They were everywhere, and that was nice.
Yeah. So Deathwater Bayou, if I don't see you again, that was a really good send-off. So had a good time with that. Then we walked through, and I apologize if I get things slightly out of order, but we walked through the Hell on Wheels, which is a brand new scare zone, just like the Gillis Mortos scare zone here. This is kind of like a Mad Max type scare zone. An interesting photo that JD took, if you look at the bottom right here, I'm imagining this is a character, but we thought for a moment that we got like a shadow person, like a ghost on camera, because this weird guy at the bottom right here.
It looks that way. It was creepy too, because we were just, he took the shot and then he kind of stopped and looked at it and we were like, wow, that's really creepy. But I do remember that actual moment because I have on my camera, I have a different picture of the actual character, or actually on video of him jumping down and then jumping back up. So that kind of debunked it for us. But it's still a really cool photo.
Yeah, it was definitely a cool photo.
The scare zone itself was good. They had some good scares. A lot of leaf blowers, which was new for me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they've been doing that for
I got blown quite a bit
Hey-o.
in that scare zone. Hey-o. But yeah, that was something that I'm not used to. I'm used to chainsaws from other events. So the leaf blower thing was kind of new, and it was different.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably the best. I really like the Dia de los Muertos costumes, but they had some really good costumes here. One of the neat things about Howl-O-Scream is it is not as lit as some of the other parks that you go to.
Oh.
So things look pretty scary in the dark. Kind of to rewind a little bit, when we were waiting for access into the event, they did have some characters kind of riding the tram from the parking lot back and forth, and they had a couple people walking around as they were putting some of the props out there. I always get everywhere super early. I don't want to be negative, but things do look a little bit better in the dark.
All right, everything looks better in the dark when it comes to a haunt.
Yeah, so I just maybe dial that back a little bit. Like I want to, I don't know. Just having people around, I guess it was nice to get some photos and things like that, but some of them weren't the strongest characters. Sorry, I love you guys. Yeah. All right. So moving on, I don't want to pick on everything. That's a nitpick. That's a nitpick of me going year after year after year. That's not me being mean. Okay. All right. So then we went to Unearthed. Now, Unearthed is been around for a couple of years. Spoiler alert: there's no Scarlet. The theme a couple of years ago was Scarlet, this like horned witch, created an IP from the creative person behind Blair Witch Project. I don't know the guy's name. But yeah, they actually had their icon that year was the witch, and you can see the images and things like that online. It had a really cool trailer. House was the same. It wouldn't be. What'd you think of it? Because it's new to you. Did you do the flashlight the first time?
Yes.
Okay.
So when the four of us went through, Johnny, JD, and Melissa, and they gave JD a flashlight, and we weren't quite sure what to do with the flashlight, other than just kind of try to randomly we used it for lighting when we were taking some of the pictures, because it's really, really dark. So JD awesomely would, shine the light on certain things so that we could get good pictures. There were a couple of good scares in the house. Really, really dark, so it was difficult to see things. It was good. It was not my favorite, I will say that, but I always like when they give you something and they're like, here, take this, you may need it. And you're like, all right,
yeah, it's
figure
like a little
out.
Kind of an interactive element a little bit.
Yeah, so I liked that.
Yeah. The second go-around was where they gave the flashlight, and I held it. I will admit the flashlight is both kind of a blessing and a curse, because it let you see some stuff, but the flashlight was programmed. Like it was on some sort of loop. I don't think it was an interactive flashlight, but it would go in and out here, and you'd be trying to shine the walls or whatever, and it would...
Flicker.
It would flicker, and sometimes it'd flicker at the wrong moment, and you were so intent on looking at the light, it would give an opportunity for a character to come out and get you. So I liked that element. I actually got some pictures. Like if you look here at the bottom right, I did get some pictures that I've been trying to get for a couple of years, so that was kind of cool. The presence of Scarlet was there. Like if you look here at the bottom left, it's like her mark, I guess. Maybe that's kind of where they were going with it. The queue to get into Unearthed is a little different. Now, and this is unfortunate you missed out on this. because you used to walk behind Gwazi, the roller coaster was on. You go up and come back down. Like it was like you're going underground. Now they break you off to the right and you just kind of walk into the house. So that was a little different.
I wonder why they changed it. That sounds like it would have been a lot more fun to do that as opposed to just the normal straightaway.
They're doing something with the roller coaster or something like that. Like there's probably a reason why the queue was set up a little differently. But I thought it was pretty effective because it gave you the effect like you were going down into the actual haunt, which was really, really cool.
See, that's neat.
Even if it was like ground level, because it's actually ground level. All right, so Earth was cool. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I've always had a love affair with this house ever since it came out. It's been there a couple of years. I think it's like its third or fourth year. I don't know the specifics. So let's move on. Okay, so the next one's going to be a scare zone that we walked through, which was the meat market.
That was my favorite scare zone.
Yeah, they had this one last year. I think they put a little bit more into it this year because it actually plays into the house, the new house this year, Simon's Slaughterhouse. So we got some photo ops here. Got some cannibal waitresses here, I guess.
They wanted to eat me.
Yep.
They kept talking about cooking me and having me for dinner. So,
yeah, I usually get something like, pork Bel Air and then some sort of fat joke with me. Scared as jerks. But got some scare zone action here. It was pretty cool. I mean, they've got towards the end of the zone. If you look here in the top middle, they had this character who had the physique of like a child, like an 8-year-old little. She's like 3 foot nothing.
She was
great. She's walking around with a chainsaw, and it was really, really cool. Like she came up to like here. So whoever you are, you're amazing, and I appreciated you.
And it was nice because she's not eye level, so you didn't expect that chainsaw to come from so low.
Yeah.
So she got quite a few people in line. We kind of stood back and watched her.
She couldn't get into the house. She just picked up a chainsaw and was starting.
I'm going rogue. Did it on her own. But
Yeah.
that was a cool scare zone. It was very detailed too. Like there was one section of it where we actually stopped to get a drink, and you had to walk through these cellophane wrapped bodies that were hanging in just to get into one of the areas with the drink, and they were actually serving like turkey legs in that area too,
I guess that makes a
and
lot
barbecue.
Of sense.
So that was fun.
Did you go to the stand where they had like the grasshoppers? Last year they had like big grasshoppers on a taco.
No. What?
Did you want that?
Yes.
Okay,
I
well,
would have
we'll go
eaten
back.
some grasshoppers. I would have gotten down on it.
It's kind of a big deal, I guess, last year.
Did they have it this year?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
We're going to have to go back.
I don't know. I'm not eating grasshoppers.
Grasshoppers. I'm going to eat them.
All right, so Meat Market was as cool as it was last year. It's always a pretty good looking scare zone. Let's move on to the new house, another new house, which is going to be Simon's Slaughterhouse.
NC-17.
And, yeah, suggested for 17 and up audience. So here's a couple pictures on the outside. So I had to get the picture of me with the picture. It says, check out my meat, because I'm a dude. And
Really?
yeah, I know, right?
What?
And then they had some pretty good set pieces kind of leading into the scare zone. One part they arranged a lot of the pieces from the Class Deceased scare zone, like all these burnt out buildings. Like one of the buildings here on the slaughterhouse had burned down. It was pretty cool to look at. Your meat team here. And then we went into the house.
All right.
I'll let you take this one first.
Let me, I don't know how to put this. For what the house was, it was good. It could have been so much better. And here's my main beef with this, and you have the same beef as well.
Yep.
When you walk up to enter the house, they take you and they separate you. So immediately they split your group, and you have that initial fear like, where's my friends going?
There's 3 doors. And if you look here in the top middle, you can kind of see the doors. They've got a couple characters, and they separate you right when you get into the house.
Right, which is awesome. The only problem with that is the minute they separate you, they bring you right back together.
Yeah.
So you only have that split second of, oh no, where's my friends? If they'd have left that a little bit longer,
Yeah.
it would have done so much more for me, because you would have had that feeling of, what's going on with the other part of my group. Are we going to see them again in the house? Or are we going to see them later? But no, they kind of immediately right off the bat are like, haha, just kidding. Here's your buddies.
It's maybe 10 seconds, 15 seconds, maybe a scare, and then you come back together. I thought that element could have really played into the house because there is strength in numbers, especially if you go to a lot of haunts and you go with groups. That could really, that really kind of takes you off balance a little bit. If you've done the house, and it was a couple of years ago, they had a house called The Basement. And it was all about like taking human parts and making them into like pot pies and stuff like that. This house, I think, was like a spiritual successor to that. Okay. So there were a lot of familiar elements. So if you did like that house, you might find a lot that you like in this house here. Let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room with 17 and up.
Why?
Okay.
Other than the fact that you want to draw people by saying it's 17 and older.
Yeah.
Listen, years ago, like probably about 3 years now, we did a haunt. JD and I worked at a haunt called Trail of Terror. That was a lot of fun. And it's basically Simon's Slaughterhouse was the same type of thing where it was a cannibalistic thing. People were bloodied and gross.
Where was the haunt located?
At the Brevard Zoo.
Okay.
Underneath the zipline trail, right next to Boo at the zoo. So that was fantastic. But there were a lot of scenes in that house that we used in Trail of Terror, all right, I'm spoiling it, like a meat grinding, sequence. Yeah. It was really cool. If they had some water bouncing out of the meat grinder.
Which maybe they do.
With the red light, and maybe we missed it.
Weekend.
Opening night, we don't know, we could have missed it. But if they had added just that little element to it, it would have made you feel like they were like literally grinding this chick up and blood would have been in your face.
Yeah, could you imagine just kind of getting like sprayed? It'd be like blood all over you the whole house. It'd be kind of cool.
And we actually did that. That's why I'm like, they could have taken it that one step further to actually grasp that 17 rating. Or throw in a curse word.
Yeah.
Throw one or two in there.
Throw a boob in. Throw a wang in. I don't care. I mean,
something.
Don't quote me on this.
Something, it's being quoted. Something to warrant that 17 rating, because what was there, honestly, I didn't think it.
Yeah,
it
and like I said, maybe the first weekend, maybe they're ramping up or whatever. Maybe they're getting used to what 17 and up actually means. But maybe I think when you advertise something that's for mature audiences, I think the expectations were set up a little bit, and that could be my own fault. But they've got the whole run to...
It's not that it was your fault that you set that expectation. They set it.
Yeah.
So when, unfortunately, they didn't deliver up to what you would expect from an NC-17 house, it was a little disappointing when you walked out. You're just kind of like, okay.
Okay, so I've got somebody in the chat here says that, they do have some language in there. But, okay. I mean, it was Simon says, puke, Simon says... This Simon says that. Simon says
that was too much. There was too much Simon says.
Howl-O-Scream does. They do kind of corny sometimes, right? And I don't mean that in a bad way.
No, sometimes corny is good.
Yeah, like it was. It just the way the house just kind of worked together didn't blow my hair back, I guess. And I don't have any hair, so it's all good.
Yeah, and I definitely would have liked to have heard some language or a
something.
boob. I would have been fine with a boob too. Man boob, chick boob. I don't care. Sure. Something.
Yeah, and there were some...
Dead one.
I guess maybe it was kind of like their stab at like something you'd find in a more independent haunt. Okay, I get that.
Yes.
So we'll just leave it at that. Room for improvement. All right, moving on. Moving
along. Next
we did Motel Hell. Motel Hell had a little bit of a change towards the end, but this was your first time, so you can go first.
I loved Motel Hell. It was fun. Couple of really good scares, which was nice. A couple of things that I've seen done in other haunts, done just as well. It definitely smelled like a haunt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you go to local independent haunts or you're a character or anything, you know that haunt smell. So the minute you walk
put that
in
a candle. It's called
haunt
candle.
smell. Copyright right now.
Yep.
But you know that smell. So the minute you walked into Motel Hell, that right there puts you into that scene. So you're like, okay, that's how this is going to go. And it did have that independent haunt feel, which I really enjoyed. And there are a lot of sections in the sets that I really enjoyed too. And they had some really good... They had a lot of bungee people in some of their houses that I did not expect. And this was another one where there was a bungee. And he got me not the first time, but the second time. He got me a couple times, so... Whoever you are, good job.
Yeah, it's an evil motel that you're walking through. So all kinds of stuff. People are coming out of you from like washers and dryers, and you go through like a little pool area and a little
The hot tub.
the hot tub, and for somebody that's been there before, because I've done this one a couple of years now, they did change the ending a little bit. It's now not like a, spoiler alert, it's not like a crypt kind of graveyard type thing. It's actually like a bunch of cars and some characters that talk to you on the way out. So it's kind of interesting. But yeah, I mean, Motel Hell, it's always been a fan favorite. It seems like it's one of their strongest houses. I love...
It was definitely busy all night. Like both times we went through, it had a pretty good sized line.
Yeah, really good facade. If you look here in the bottom middle, they have a full hotel sign and it flickers. It's really, really cool. So really, really good. The whole point of here is the Sandman is the bad guy and your dreams get you. So and I always got to point this out. They have a room here in the top middle, the Jabberwocky's room.
I love that room. They got me a couple times in that room. They got me once from one section, and then they got me again from a whole different section. So it feels like they kind of switched the characters, kind of switched where they were, so they were never in the same place, which was nice.
Yeah, Motel Hell is awesome. I would like to imagine this one's coming back next year, but after last year, I don't know what's coming back. Okay, all right. So we don't really have. This is actually out of order a little bit. Camp DOA was one of their scare zones. This is one that unfortunately you missed.
Yes.
There is a little kind of a circle path right here where Black Spot and Fiends is. And if you go the wrong way, you can get turned around and you kind of head back the way you come. And there's a whole lot more to kind of do, I guess, in the back of the park. So Camp DOA, I don't have any pictures here, and the video I took was bad. But it's an evil summer camp, and they get you. So it's one of their fully themed scare zones, like the Hell on Water or Hell on Wheels. Was that it? They had a couple that were like fully themed. Deadly Toys was really dark. We walked by Deadly Toys.
Couldn't see anything.
Yeah, I don't even know if I have a picture in here of Deadly Toys because I should just put a black screen up and be like, Deadly Toys.
That's pretty much what it was.
Yeah, super dark.
The little facade, they had like a sign on kids' blocks that you saw when you walked in, and then everything else was just
There was a chainsaw in there.
I heard the chainsaw.
Yeah, it was too dark.
It was very, very dark. So maybe a little bit of lighting in that area. It doesn't have to be a whole lot, but a little bit. Because if you're going to put stuff out as part of a scare zone, I want to see it.
Yeah.
And you couldn't see anything.
So yeah, once again, just little things. Something I didn't get a chance to experience because it was too dark. But Camp DOA, Evil Summer Camp. That's all I gotta say about it. But it was fully themed from the beginning to the end, so that's kind of neat. Not every scare zone is. Sometimes it's just characters and set pieces. This one had a clear beginning and ending point.
Okay.
Moving on. And then we decided to kind of take a break / do a show.
/ sit down in some air conditioning.
Yes. And we did the show, we did Fiends. And Fiends is now at the, once again at the Stanleyville Theater. I know they have a pre-show for the Fright Feast, but we didn't do the Fright Feast. So Fiends here. What'd you think of Fiends? Did they have Fiends when you were back in?
They did not.
They did
back in my day, when I went like 6-7 years ago, they did not have Fiends. Okay. So as a first time seeing the show, it was a fun show. It had fun music. They definitely tried to go the more sexier route than some other shows I've seen, which was good depending on your taste. They had something for the ladies
something
and
for everybody.
Something for the men, whatever. So they definitely had something for everybody. Very well choreographed. Everybody was pretty much on point and with hitting their marks, which was nice.
I mean, Fiends, it is what it is. It's like a Mad Lib show. They use, it's like, Dr. Frankenstein, Igor, they come into some sort of situation, they have to get out, and then every segment they introduce a new character, Wolfman, and Bride of Frankenstein, and
Dracula.
Frankenstein's monster, Dracula. They come out and they dance to some sort of contemporary, like modern now music, and then they do Weird Science at the end, and lots of booty dancing. Yeah, lots of hot.
Lots of booty dancing.
Lots of
butts.
Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Exactly.
Lots of nurses, lots of big hunky dudes, you know, if you're into that kind of thing. And it's fun. I mean, I've never had a bad time at Fiends. So, I mean, if you've ever done the show before, it's no better or worse than it has been. It's just a good time.
It was definitely something that's worth doing. Yeah. It's worth sitting down and chilling and just kind of watching it. It was fun. A good break. Yeah, and then afterwards we got to actually go up and chit-chat with some of them.
Got some pictures.
Yeah, and they were all really sweet.
Yeah, very cool. That's one thing that I really like about Howl-O-Scream is it's never impossible to get the picture you want.
No.
It's character, set piece, whatever.
They're very accessible.
Very accessible, yes.
And that's very, very nice because there are other things sometimes at other places that are not. So for me, because I'm not used to it, because I haven't gone, to Busch forever. I'm used to other haunts that don't have these types of things. For me, it was a nice refresher, and I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, Fiends is cool. And now another thing that that Howl-O-Scream does that some other parks don't do is they have DJs, and they actually have, like, people dancing. Like,
yeah.
Like, doing the wobble thing.
The little...
I don't know how to do it.
You just kind of...
You just
wiggle.
wiggle,
I guess.
Yeah, Melissa knew how to do it, I guess. So.
Melissa did good. I got videos somewhere that I've since deleted.
Yeah. It's a party. It's a drinking park.
It
is go have a good time, hopefully safely, dance, take some pictures, do some houses, ride some roller coasters. The price point, if you did the summer deal where it was like $20-$25, I mean, it would be a super awesome deal.
Yeah.
Now the tickets I think are like $34-$40 plus parking.
Depending when you go.
Still a pretty good deal. It's up to you. You just have to really understand what you're getting for what you're paying for. So I think it's entertainment per dollar is pretty good.
It's good if you go in with no expectations.
Yeah.
Like I literally went in with no expectations and I was very pleasantly surprised, which was good.
I had expectations.
Get rid of them.
How dare me?
No.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you whenever you do something, you hope that in some small way, even if it's incrementally, the event is better than the year before. So I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
All right, so moving on, the last house that we did, and this is kind of where we parted ways, was the Black Spot.
Yes.
So I'll let you go ahead and take this one first, the Evil Pirates of the Caribbean.
That's exactly what it was. It was Evil Pirates of the Caribbean. I enjoyed it. It was now, my understanding is you were telling me that this house has been here for
3 years, 4
years? 3 or 4 years. Yep. It's been a while. Seeing it for the first time, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the facade. I enjoyed, as you can see in the picture there, that big giant skull thing. I've seen other pictures where there's characters out in that area. There wasn't one when we went through. But again, opening night, getting the kinks out, and I'm sure everybody's trying to find their groove and get everybody in their places. I got a couple of really good scares in there. Melissa got one. She about dropped her phone.
She did drop her phone.
It was hilarious. She did. Yeah. It was funny. Somebody got her. I think it was a bungee guy that got her, actually.
Okay.
Because it was
3
good.
Years? Okay, 3 years.
Was it? Oh, okay, it was 3 years. So as a first time for me, I enjoyed it. It was definitely one of the prettier looking houses for being there as long as it's been.
Okay. I could swear that there's a couple little new things here and there. There was one hallway, maybe I just didn't notice it, where maybe the floor is angled slightly, but it actually feels like you're going down. Did you experience that?
Yes.
Yes, that was kind of neat going in there.
And then they had people... at one point, they had people like up above you. They had people below. They had people in the middle. So you were practically surrounded by all the people.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good house.
Yeah, it was fun. I liked it.
All right, so what else we got here?
Thanks, Kevin.
Okay, so Deadly Toys we already talked about. I think there was a chainsaw in there somewhere.
There was a chainsaw. There was a, I do remember seeing, it looked like part of a toy train. But again, it was so dark, I can only make out the smokestack on the locomotive. And this character next to it, I had no idea what she was dressed in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would have liked to have seen that a little better. Okay.
So maybe a little bit better lighting there. All right. So moving on, we already talked about Camp DOA a little bit. See, I'm used to doing a lap around the park. So back where Fiends and where Black Spot is, if you come back around, you go back by Shikra, and you're basically coming back the way you came. Mm-hmm. If you go past it, that's where you end up in the back of the park, where they have like Kumba and a couple other rides back there. Now, I when you get through Camp DOA and you get into the midway part of this, the Maniac Midway, this is typically where they had a seventh house. So, like I said, if this was last year, it was Demented Dimensions, or previous to that, Zombie Mortuary, or whatever it is before. It was kind of heartbreaking to walk by and actually see the gate close for the first time that I've done Howl-O-Scream, so that was kind of a bummer. Because I loved both of those houses, especially Zombie Mortuary, but I understand these things can't stay around forever. From where you get into that section, and I mean, I've got video of this, it's from like 5 minutes straight, it's clowns. It is clowns. So if you like clowns, you're all about this area. It's got midway games, all kinds of stuff. There are a couple set pieces here and there, like there's like where you spin you on the wheel and throw knives at you.
Okay.
There's that. There's a saw in half, that obviously
The
went wrong, that kind of thing.
Magic trickish.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have the thought when I was walking through it that maybe they could have combined these elements into more of a fully themed scare zone. But I guess it's more of like what other parks call a roaming horde, where it's just mostly characters. They had mimes. I mean, they had one that scared the heck out of Melissa. So they did a pretty good job there. And there were all kinds of mimes and gestures and harlequin photo ops and all kinds of stuff. There's a lot of clowns. Maybe
Too many?
Maybe a clown car of clowns. It's cool. It was cool, and then they went the other way. This is where we split up, and then I came back, and you end up back through Gillis Mortos.
Yep.
Now here's the thing. There are, and I'm not trying to tell Howl-O-Scream how to do business. It's not really what we do here at HauntScene. But I mean, there are locations where they could have put houses. I mean, that's like, back, like I said, back where the Demented Dimensions was. There's like this big section of like almost nothing. I mean, there's a couple like random characters and like sliders and stuff like that. They're not really like themed. So I don't really know. Maybe I'm just not articulating this right. It just felt like in a different combination. Maybe it could have been a little bit more. I had a good time. I'm not saying I had a bad time at all. I always have a good time at Howl-O-Scream. It's just I get to nitpick a little bit because I've gone to the event for 5 years in a row. So, yeah. I'll just leave it at that.
I did notice, though, now that you mentioned that they took the other houses away, they had a 6 thing going this year. They had 6 houses, 6 Scarezones, and 6 coasters. All going. So there was a 666 thing happening there.
I don't know.
I don't know what that's all
about. I don't know if we want to theme our entire haunt around 666.
I'm just saying, though, it could have been a coincidence. It could have been something that they planned or that maybe they wanted to see if, people would pick up on. I don't know.
All right, so let's see what we got here. Okay, so we're back at the beginning, so we've gotten through all the pictures here. So, final thoughts on Howl-O-Scream 2018. Are you going to go back next year?
Okay. I would. Okay, so let me.
Would you buy a ticket?
Would I buy a ticket? Now, I would buy a ticket. Yes, I bought tickets this year, so we are going to go back this year. Are you going back this year? Are you going to forego it?
I don't think
give it
so
away?
Because I don't think that our schedule is going to allow it.
Okay.
But that's not. But that's the reason why.
Okay.
Normally, I do Howl-O-Scream twice every season.
Okay. We bought the tickets before we got offered, invited to the media event. So we do plan on going back. I don't know when. If we do, we will probably end up picking up the Express Pass. Having the Express Pass was fantastic because there were points, especially for Simon Slaughterhouse and then Insomnia initially, were really, really long. So it was definitely worth it just to get past those. I'm going to be honest with you. If I had waited as long as some of the people did for Simon Slaughterhouse, like Sylvia, our best good buddy there who used to do Petrified, I would have not been happy at all because it was a very long line. So we will probably go back this year, at least that's my intention, and possibly purchase the Express. Would I go again next year?
I think it depends on their lineup next
year. It does depend on if they get anything new. If they don't, I would like to go back once just because it's a haunt. And I am a fan of Busch Gardens.
Yeah.
A lot of people have issues with it, and I understand to each their own. But I would probably go back next year. it would guarantee it if they did add some new things that I would go back. I would definitely go back if it was a media event again, because that was a lot of fun to kind of hang out and chit chat with people. But if they did another ticket sale like they did, yes, I would definitely buy a ticket earlier in the season when they had that. I think it was like $19 ticket sale. That I would jump on in a
25.
heartbeat.
I think the one I bought was 25.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth that. If you've never been, then go. It's definitely worth it because you're not going to have anything to compare it to like I did. I couldn't look at any of these houses and say, oh, this is the exact same, or hey, they added that one little thing. So for me, it was great because I hadn't been in forever.
Yeah, see, I have been, and I noticed they sprinkled a little bit of differences here and there, but
not enough.
I mean, at this rate, it's not that I don't love Howl-O-Scream, but if we're going to be branching out more and more and doing more stuff, do I want to do this every year, or do I want to go every other year when things are newer? You know, I'm not going to say that I wouldn't go so far as to say I was like disappointed or let down with the event, because I wasn't. I had a good time the whole time from beginning to end that I was there. But being that you went and you haven't been in a while, I think obviously you enjoyed it more than somebody that's been.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, good job as characters, everything.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't for lack of effort. It was just how the event was assembled, I guess.
And they were good scares. The characters did a great job. All you guys, you busted butts. You did good.
So I've never been to any other Howl-O-Scream at Williamsburg or the one in San Antonio at SeaWorld, so I don't have anything to compare it to. I did look up San Antonio and I looked up Williamsburg just to kind of get like like how big the event is in different places. I mean, San Antonio, the SeaWorld there, they only have 4 houses. So
they didn't have many.
Very smaller house, and I think that the Williamsburg one has 6 or 7, but some of them are indoor-outdoor. At least that was my 10-second glance at it when I
They do have a lot of outdoor houses up there, but their opening weekend, most of them weren't open because of the hurricane. So they only opened some of their indoor houses versus their outdoors. I think they're all open now, but I know like their scare zones, like all the prop pieces and stuff were still put away because of the hurricane. So yay, nature.
All right. All right, well, we're going to start wrapping it up here. So, good job.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
I might have to have you on the show again.
Thank you guys for tuning in and chatting with us and listening to us ramble about Howl-O-Scream.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
We got newbie versus old hand. All right, so this is a part of the show where I shamelessly promote myself. Please follow HauntScene on everything on YouTube. Please subscribe to us. Please follow us on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. Hopefully you're already doing that. That would be great. Follow the Dead Girl, Horror Happenings with the Dead Girl. You can look her up on various things.
I'm on all the medias.
All of the media.
Subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Subscribe to his too.
I need it more than you do.
You need to get on there and get some stuff
going. How about this?
going.
I'll trade you 100 Instagram followers for 100 subscribers.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have to negotiate that later.
We're going to have to figure this out. But yes, subscribe to both of our YouTube channels. There is always good content on there.
You're just hitting the button that says subscribe.
Hit it, and there's a little bell that tells you when we post new stuff.
Yep.
Hit that bell too, and comment and like stuff.
Give feedback.
Yeah, and if there's stuff that like you want to see, I know for me, I love taking suggestions. So if there's stuff you want to see me do, let me know. If there's stuff that you want HauntScene to cover, let them know. They'll think about it and try.
Yeah. What are you up to? See, now this... Okay, here's my disclaimer about this next part is we're now past the theme park stuff, and we're getting into independent Hauntland. And this is my favorite part of the season.
Mine too.
Not to take anything away from Horror Nights, not to take anything away from Howl-O-Scream, but
you make enough money.
love independent haunted attractions. So starting this weekend, good segue, I am going to Gainesville on Friday to do the Torment Factory media event, and then I'm going to Jacksonville on Saturday, and I'm going to do Warehouse 31 Unleashed, and I'm going to do 13th Floor out there, and hopefully get a little bit of behind-the-scenes stuff and some good photos for you guys. And that's what we'll be talking about on the show next week when Melissa gets back, and she'll talk about her experiences where she went to California.
Ah, you guys are busy bees.
I know, right? You should see my
Nice.
spreadsheet. It's many colors.
I've seen it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's huge. I think I'm doing Ominous Descent and Sir Henry's Chill. I'm going to see those guys, which I'm very excited about. Sadly, I missed them last year, so this year I'm doing it. And then I think we're doing Screamageddon,
Yep.
which should be fun.
Next week.
Next week,
Yep.
October 4th. We're doing their media event. We were both invited, so
All right.
yay, excited for that. And then there's a couple in South Florida that I'm probably going to hit up, and then I'm going to go to Old Town and check out Mortem Manor. They
Yeah,
added
do
a
it.
whole bunch of stuff too. They're like little mini
Yeah, the mini
haunts
are fun.
down there, so we're going to check that out this year. We missed it last year.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to wrap this up here. I'm going to roll credits, but thank you guys for watching. Thank you so much for filling in for a week.
you for
Appreciate
having
you.
me.
And till next time, sorry about the little snafu there. Don't worry, when I edit it, it'll be like it never happened.
Yay.
All right, and till next time, happy haunting. Stay spooky.
Keep it spooky.
Okay, she did her tagline. All right, bye-bye, guys.
Bye.
Give me some treats.